Welcome back to the second part of the discussion of the wall tool. And here we're going to explore its properties a little bit deeper. This is how the wall is going to be represented in your three-dimensional view. So if you actually wanted the exterior wall to be a siding and you want the cut to be something like, I don't know, like really it's a wood inside the wall, and then the interior wall you want it to be like a paint wall or something like that. And then you can align the textures to the edges of the wall, and you can have the in surfaces of adjoining walls override by whatever is in this cut. And then further down, we have the properties of the wall. And this gets more into kind of the BIM aspect of Archicad. So for instance, if the wall was like a W01, you might want to put it in there. And you can set whether it's load bearing, non-load bearing, or undefined. You can also set what position it is, if it's an interior wall or an exterior wall. And these will play a role later as you get more familiar with it. And then you can add, if it's a fire rated wall, and the construction type, if it's an interior bearing wall. Again, this information plays a role in how the wall is categorized, how it can be specified, and then what information you can extract from it. So let's really quickly look at a few of these different walls just for your own reference. So I'm going to select the wall. I'm going to use this generic 2x4 wall. And so if I go in here and I look at this wall, so this wall is showing up like this. But there's a couple other ways to show the wall. So if I wanted to do a drafting model view, or if I wanted to do simplified drawing, you can see how it kind of takes away some of that information. So let's look at another wall. So let's take this off simplify and go back to construction documents. You can see how these walls heal together at their finishes. But let's just change this wall to a simple wall. So now we have a simple wall. It's made up of a generic material, and basically it doesn't have any information in it other than it's of a generic material. But if I changed it to concrete, and this will make a little bit more sense what these building materials do and how they're categorized. But let's just make a concrete precast. And because concrete generally is a more substantial structural element, it's showing that it's cutting right through this wall, because probably the concrete wall is going to be formed, and then you're going to build your 2x4 wall or your stud wall here on either side, and the concrete kind of dictates that it's going to penetrate that wall. But if you changed it to something else like a generic material, we'll just go back to that so you can see. So this is basically telling me that the generic material penetrates the exterior or the gyp, but it's not necessarily penetrating this wall. And this wall is this stud wall overrides or penetrates this generic wall. So now if we go back to the generic wall or to a composite wall, you could see these two materials are similar, so their construction and relationship is going to be similar, as well as these corner pieces. And if you go to 3D, so you can go to 3D in a few different ways. So we'll just say show all in 3D. And here you are. You have a wall that penetrates that wall, and that's how those two pieces are working. But let's just change this to a brick wall, And now you can see that the brick shows up. These are kind of automatic. It has an air gap in it, but that stud wall doesn't penetrate the brick. It doesn't penetrate this other material because that's probably insulation that needs to be there. But these can all be adjusted, and we can talk a little bit more about that later. But that's just a basic introduction to the walls. And that is the end of this lesson, and we'll get into the next lesson. And thanks for joining me, and see you in the next lesson.